Well, hello and welcome to the Friday night update. I'm here with Corney. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Glad to be here and looking forward to this update.
Me too.
How are you?
Yep. Right. Hey.
Okay. This week we are looking at attachment systems, part two. Icarus Week 37 update. 21 new armor attachments to craft. Armor attachments have been added to the alteration bench, and we have added buffs for crossbows and projectiles.
You might want to scroll down a bit because your webcam is blocking part of the text. Also,
Oh,
Michael
sorry.
Stevenson, welcome, man. Welcome from this
Welcome,
side.
buddy. It's good
Pond.
to see you. How are you? Well, you've made a live one now. Welcome, welcome. It's good to
Exactly.
see you. We are looking at today's updates. Corney, would you like to lead us in?
Sure. So, armor attachments have now been added to the alteration bench, and we've added buffs for crossbows and projectiles. 21 new armor attachments are the feature of this week 37 update, scaling out the new system to include unique perks and buffs to your character or wearables, alongside our weapons and tools attachments from week 35. Choose from standard buffs such as aerodynamics or storm visors for efficiency to specialized perks such as tracking chips, all available on the alteration bench.
Nice.
Yeah.
Looking forward to this.
Oh yeah, definitely. We have also made a range of buffs and improvements to the performance of crossbows and other projectiles at your feedback. So do have a read below about what you can expect, along with some detail about the future of the attachment system. Oh, Michael is tired of the summer heat, ready for some cold? Eh,
Hmm.
it's all relative. Heat, cold.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say the weather has started to change over here. The sun is back. It's nice to see it, but the temperature is definitely dropping, and we did have a couple of quite wet, cold days. So we're looking for the leaves to start turning yellow soon. But I wouldn't be so eager for the cold.
Uh, I'm this just a bit of a dip in the weather. Next week is going to be nice weather again here, so.
Yeah. Well, I'll take a nice sunny day any day I can get.
Oh yeah, vitamin D.
Absolutely. This image underneath that paragraph is looking really cool. That spear looks awesome.
Isn't it a composite spear?
I don't know. I've never made one.
Looking at the armor, it looks like the hunter armor, the craftable
Yeah,
hunter armor.
looks so cool.
I can have a quick look at the composite spear. Uh, if I can find it, it is. Yeah, it definitely looks like the composite spear. Although, yeah, this one has like one additional tip. Yeah, I think it's a composite spear.
Ah, well.
Anyway, for these new armor attachments, 20 new ones have been added to the alteration benches, alongside the 25 melee and weapon attachments from 2 weeks ago. These armor attachments are similarly tiered, with 9 available at tier 3 under the basic category, 9 advanced options at tier 4, and the 3 special ones alongside them.
Mm, Okay.
So we have the normal and the advanced supplemental respiration attachment. The normal and the storm visor attachment. Normal and the advanced supplemental filtration attachment. Calibrated grip. Aerodynamic. Rubberized. Noise suppression. Pockets. And plating. And we have the three special ones, the tracking, nutrition and recovery attachments.
Wow.
Actually, I made a quick list of what is what. Let's see. Oh, I used the other names. Let's see, the Storm Visor attachment. It's called Storm Rider 1 and 2. It gives you extra stam regen during a storm and extra exposure resistance, for example.
Cool.
The supplemental respiration, I think it's the Cave Dweller one. More health regen in caves and chance to
Looks
resist pneumonia, which is an interesting one.
okay. Just let me
Uh,
scroll back up a little bit because there we go.
Supplemental filtration. Well, if these are in the same order as they are in the bench, then the supplemental filtration is called Desert Nomad. Chance to resist poison and less water consumption.
Okay.
Calibrated grip sounds like the Worksman, which
Mm-hmm.
is less stamina consumed by tool actions and less wear rate of items. Wear rate.
Ooh.
Aerodynamic, I think, is the acrobatic one. More climbing speed, less stamina consumed by jumping, and more swimming speed.
Ho,
So this one is
nice.
kind of partially replacing the what's the talent for the less stam when jumping.
Yeah.
I always forget the name.
Um.
Um,
Yeah. I think it's like 3-point landing or
no,
something.
no, no. The 3-point landing is the rubberized.
Oh
It's
right.
called
Okay.
sure-footed. Less
Oh
falling
yeah.
resistance and a chance to avoid sprain when taking full damage.
Yeah.
So not a 3-point landing, but this is the other one. Let me quickly check the talent tree. Plyometrics.
That's it. That's
Plyometrics
it.
is the jumping one.
Yes.
Noise suppression, yeah, that's the stealthy one. Less perceived threat whilst stealthed, and
Mm-hmm.
more crouching movement speed. I
Okay.
believe there is a talent for this one as well, right? For the crouch
Yeah.
move speed.
Yeah. There is, but I tend not to use it.
Uh, let's see, what else do we have? We have the extra pockets, so the pockets attachment. Extra pockets, more weight capacity and more suit inventory slots.
Okay.
And the plating attachment is more health regen and physical resistance, percentage physical resistance.
Yeah. Yeah.
The tracking attachment is a helmet attachment which allows you to see world bosses on the map, and you do 15% more critical damage.
Oh, nice.
Yep. The nutrition attachment
That's got to be a
is
food
a
buff.
chest piece attachment. Gives you space in the stomach and 10% food effects duration increase.
Okay.
So it is the fourth stomach slot. It'll give you the fourth stomach slot on the
Well,
chest armor.
what if you already have 4 stomach slots? Does it
You will
give you
have. You should have 5. So
that? Yeah.
we're gonna have to test this. Does this stack with the talent?
Oh,
So will
absolutely.
you be able to get a 5th stomach slot then?
Yeah. Yeah, that would be interesting.
Oh. And the recovery attachment is minus 20% bacterial afflictions duration, minus 20% parasitic, afflictions duration, minus 20% physical trauma afflictions duration, and minus 20% poison afflictions duration.
Oh, well, oh yeah, we're
Interesting one.
definitely testing that one.
Yeah, it is for the head and for the chest piece, the helmet and for the
Yeah,
chest.
okay.
So underneath here is a bit of important information. A key difference with armor attachments is they are slot specific, meaning only certain attachments can be attached to certain pieces of armor, and not universal across all your armor pieces. Be aware
Mm-hmm.
of this when crafting them, as you'll need all 5 attachments to fit all 5 different armor pieces of a set. So you can't use 2 head attachments, you can only use 1. So you have to choose which one you're going to use.
Yeah. So you can only, yeah,
Uh,
it's one
yeah,
per piece of armor,
yeah.
basically.
So for example, the restorative one, the recovery attachment, is for head and chest. Now I'm not sure whether you need it on head and chest for the buffs to take into effect, or
That
one of the two. That I do
I
not know.
They kind of almost make it sound like they're interchangeable, like you could have this one on the head or the chest, so that you could have a different head
Which
attachment.
means you can get up to 5 of those buffs,
Yeah,
if that is so.
we'll have to test it.
Oh yeah. So then we'll have to see which 5 buffs do we want, and can we fit this uh, over all our armor pieces.
Yeah, yeah, okay. So similar to the tools and weapons, we've added a new user interface feature which shows which attachments can attach to which item and if an armor piece has an active attachment or not.
Oh,
So it's basically if you try to attach something to a chess piece which already has one, it's going to tell you you
you
can't put the
can't because
second
it
one
already
on
has one.
because
Yeah,
yes, because there is already one taking up the space.
yeah.
Okay. I'm looking at the image underneath there. That looks awfully like the scorpion armor, if I'm not mistaken.
And no, the scorpion has more spikes sticking out. This might be the sandworm.
Sandworm. Oh, could be.
Because if you remember correctly, the scorpion one has all those spikes sticking out, left, right, center.
Oh, so it does. Yes, you're absolutely right.
And I don't see it on this picture here, so I
No,
think this is the sandworm.
yeah, I think you're right. I still love that. I still love that armor set. It's
Oh, it's looking
awesome.
very nice.
It looks
Oh
so
yeah,
cool.
oh yeah.
And it really it does give you some nice buffs, I believe. So let's have a look
Uh, the
at
Scorpion 1 gives you an increased threat perceived.
yeah, yeah. But it didn't really seem like
But
it
it
was too
does,
bad.
and I believe it does lower your water consumption in the desert or something.
Yeah, yeah. It's good for that, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So the attachment system has been a large success as we've seen many players jump in and use this new feature and found its depth means there's a lot of scalability and opportunity for us to branch it out across the game. This element of user customization is integral to Icarus's design, so your feedback on what attachments you love, what you'd like to see, and what you think needs work helps us strategize and plan our future updates. Keep sharing it with us in feature upvote and having constructive discussions with other players in Steam forums and Discord. Well, we'd like to think that we're helping him out with that.
Yeah,
Um, because yeah, I'm not shy of giving my feedback in a constructive way. So
yeah.
please, if you you
Always
know,
do it constructive, eh? Negative feedback, like even negative feedback, you can put in a constructive way. If you
yes,
put it in a destructive way, people are not going to listen.
yes, yes. They're looking
Plus,
for.
huh?
I was
They're
just going
looking
to say
for?
they're looking for constructive criticism.
Yeah.
So um, it's good to know that they listen to the community, though, and I've
Oh
said
yeah.
that from day one. They listen to us, and that's why we give them the feedback. It's a
Yeah.
two-way street. So
Indeed.
yeah, and so coming up here we have. They're giving us a sneak peek of the next stage of the attachment system, and the team has been working on one of the most highly used category of items in game, ranged weapons. Keep your eye on our updates for when this is ready to release. Looking forward to that.
Are the ranged weapons the most used item category in game? Because usually, if you shoot something, you also skin it, which is a melee item.
Yes, but
If
that's
you
not.
cut down trees, it's a melee item. If you mine, it's a melee item. Usually, a ranged item is followed up by a melee item. Usually.
Yeah, true. You have a point there. Um,
But yeah, I do agree with them. Like the ranged weaponry, the bows, they are heavily used.
oh yeah, yeah. Heavily used. We can testify to that, literally.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. I believe that we are now looking at the scorpion armor because I'm seeing a couple of spiky things coming out of the helmet there.
Uh, no, yeah, I think so. Yeah, look at the shoulder pad.
Yeah,
I think indeed this is the scorpion one.
yeah.
Michael says, I'm one of the few that uses spears. Throwing them does massive damage, but the aim and drop makes you practice often. Uh, yeah, one of the reasons I'm not throwing spears, I'm just using a bow and arrow. It's way easier for me.
Yeah, yeah.
Also,
I mean,
isn't a spear, doesn't it take more materials to craft compared with arrows?
um, I wouldn't really say so because if memory serves, it really only takes you what 3 or 4 sticks to craft a spear for an early for a brand new character, for a low level character. Spears can be a godsend, but I didn't ever
Uh,
use them long enough to learn how to throw them because
12
once.
fiber and 18 sticks for a wooden spear.
Okay,
Stone
so
arrow is
it's
1
it's a bit
fiber,
more
1
than
stick,
four
1 stone.
sticks,
Yeah.
but it's relatively cheap to craft, and you can keep things at arm's length for a
You
low level
can.
character. But like I said, I never got to throw in them because the couple of times that I did actually throw them was completely by accident, and I have thrown away really good knives like that, so I had to
Yeah.
rebind that key.
But
So
also,
I don't throw my
with
weapons ever.
but also with bow and arrow, you can have like really long distance shots, kill shots.
Oh yeah, distance shots are fantastic with a bow and arrow.
Yeah, remember in one of your triple Fs, I believe, we did it where I was so far away from the target, I didn't even see the target anymore. I had to rely on you to tell me like
Yes,
a bit further, a bit closer.
yes, that's absolutely right. It was the where when we had the wolves over by the pod,
At your drop pod, and I was on the other
and I
side of
was
the
using
river,
the
way up high.
binoculars.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
it was fun. I mean, I couldn't even see the target I was shooting at. So I was kind of like the sniper, you the guy like doing all the calculations and stuff.
yeah, Yeah, the spotter. So yeah, I mean, I love my bow and arrow, and I was even saying it in last night's stream. If I ever had to be self-sufficient because I was dropped in the middle of nowhere and I had to like literally survive, I could only wish that my accuracy with a bow and arrow was like that in real life because
Yeah,
oh my God.
same here.
Yeah,
Yeah, Marcus says the crafting of the spear gets more expensive the higher you go, and also less likely to throw an expensive one. Well,
yes,
depends on your key bindings, actually, Michael. The default key binding, what was it like? Q,
Q,
the default
yes,
one. Say you're switching between your numbers above at the top of the keyboard and then back to WASD. Then you accidentally have your hand a bit too far to the left and you press Q instead of W. And then that's bye bye workshop spear.
yeah.
Oops.
Yeah, that's why I had to rebind it because I did actually throw a workshop spear when I was using the most expensive one at the time when we were still getting levels upward to 100. Um,
Yeah,
and I threw away quite a few really decent weapons, and I got so annoyed with it that
yeah, me too.
I actually rebound my drop key to F4 so that I definitely couldn't mistake it for anything
Yeah,
else.
finally got enough platinum to make myself a decent platinum knife. And
Yeah.
within minutes, I accidentally threw it away.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, that's
Tad annoying.
yes.
So yeah, I rebound it as
Mhm.
well to the right side of the keyboard.
Yeah, yeah, and stayed away from well, I mean, with exception to the the pickaxe and the axe, but because I've rebound my drop key, I don't have to worry about it, because
Exactly.
you know, but what that did was it led me away from throwing things.
Yeah,
So
accidentally thrown it. Nah,
n-
thanks.
I've got way too used to my bow and arrow. I'm sorry, but
Yeah,
So
I'm not gonna go to spear throwing.
oh no, no.
Anyway, let's continue with the patch notes, shall we?
Critical and crossbows, if you would please, Cornet.
Yeah, last week's critical hit and crossbow update was a fun one to release, but we've made some needed tweaks and fixes this week to address a few bugs and balancing issues that crept through. The critical hit stat calculation had a small issue in the formula, so we fixed this, meaning damages should scale correctly and avoid any over or underwhelming performances. Crossbows also deserved a buff, so we've added multiple innate features such as a chance to slow perk and more firepower than their archery bow counterparts when hitting the hardened areas of foe. This should mean their punch is worth the higher cost, making them a viable option for players. We've also addressed a range of weapon talents, giving critical damage stats increases to the soft spot 1 and 2, the Deadly Thrust 1 and 2 and the Deadly Step talents, so their purchase is worthwhile compared to other similar talents. Uh, Critical hit stats calculation had a small issue. Okay, I had not noticed, but I'm glad I fixed that.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
Uh, Crossbows deserved a buff. Uh, so they added multiple innate features such as the chance to slow perk. So basically, every time you fire a crossbow, it has the chance to slow your target without any talents needed. That's how I read this.
That's that. Yeah, I would take it that way too. It would be interesting to see if it stacks with the talent.
Yeah, but if this the default chance to slow, it could counteract the slow reload for uh, for the crossbows.
Yes. I mean, the I stayed away from crossbows because A, they were kind of slow to use, but if you could get a bear from a distance, it's fine. But the hitting power of that was never enough.
Well, they updated too. So the more firepower than their archery bow counterparts, but
Yeah.
when hitting the hardened parts of foe. So
Yeah.
also if you shoot them in the head, or only if you shoot them in the hardened areas.
Uh,
It looks like the lair.
yeah. But I mean, you would expect a crossbow to hit harder no matter where it's hitting.
Yes. Like you shoot it in the chest, the arrow goes in one side and goes out the other side. That's a crossbow.
Uh-huh. Yeah. You would expect the punch to be way more than what they currently have. And if
Yeah.
they're only gonna give it more firepower when you're hitting the hardened area, it's kind
Then
of
I'd say you need to aim better.
well, yes.
Just go for headshots, like we already did. Always aim
Yeah.
for headshots.
Yeah.
Sure, you don't always hit the head. Sometimes you do hit the hardened area,
Mhm.
and then the crossbow might do a bit more damage. But still, if you don't kill it with a crossbow with that one shot, then I don't really see the added value of this more damage. I
No.
mean, if you're talking about high HP animals, I'm talking bear, polar bear.
Mhm.
They don't have no hard spots.
No. That's true.
So maybe if you shoot them in the foot, the crossbow will do more damage. Yeah, because you need to shoot those multiple times
Nails.
anyway. At that point, maybe the crossbow might become worth it. However, there's still the slower reload.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, I'm
Mm,
still not a big
it's
fan of crossbows. I
no.
mean, don't get me wrong. It has less drop off, so the aiming is easier.
Yeah, you
So
definitely
people,
have
yeah.
to be closer to your enemy, to your potential victim than you do with a bow.
Oh no, not with a crossbow. The arrow should travel further and faster, flatter trajectory, so less drop off.
Mhm.
So aiming with a crossbow should be easier than with a normal bow. So that might be a reason for people to use the crossbow. And hey, by all means, do use it. I prefer the faster reload of the normal bow.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. Now this image here, I really wish I could make it bigger for you guys. Um, but this looks like we've got um tier one, two, three, tier one and tier two
Yeah.
attachments on the left hand side.
So this is the tier 4 bench most likely.
Okay. And we have what looks like a leather
Leather armor.
helmet
Yeah,
in
and the rest
there.
of the set is in the inventory, device inventory.
Yeah, and it looks like they've got attachments on them.
Actually, no, they have not. It's
No,
an empty
not yet.
square. Not yet. It's an
Okay.
empty square, and they are adding the tracking attachment to the leather head armor. Can see world bosses on the map and plus 15% critical damage. It's the scanner 1.
Okay. Nice. Alrighty. Um, could I ask you really nicely to go through the highlighted ones? I have to give the kitty her meds. I will be right back.
Sure. So they created armor attachment items, adding to database tables. Obviously, otherwise we can't use them. They added the tags for the different armor attachments. Added armor alteration item, alteration stats, text and flavor text. Yeah, otherwise you have like no buff from them. Added a new destructible mesh for the tier 4 alteration bench with a reduced strike count. Oh, so it looks different than last week then. Okay. Adding recipes and talents for armor attachments. Actually, it's not a talent, it's a blueprint. For the people who are like, shit, do we need talents for this? No, you don't. It's a blueprint. They resaved the talent editor to resolve some data validation issue. Added tag for armor ranged and deployable attachments. Huh. Deployable attachments. That's going to be interesting. Will we be able to put attachments on benches as well then? Like on a smelter. Make it smelt a bit faster or so. That would encroach on the talents for this. Interesting. Let's see, setting up armors to have attachment slots. Yeah, it's nice if you have the armor attachment items and you can add them to the armor indeed. So yeah. And they added the tech queries for the individual attachment slots as well. Various helper functions to retrieve the attachment slots and to see whether or not items can be attached to others. Here's a nice visual one. Added smoke to fireplace chimneys while the fireplace is active. Actually, this one also comes back in the list of fixes, and it is linked to a feature upvote. When we're
I
getting
are
there, welcome
I
back.
are back.
When we're getting there, I'll have a look at the actual feature upvote thingy. Let's see, they added the stat for pneumonia resistance for this, what was it called? The coffee
Recovery?
attachment, I think. No,
Yeah, I think
pneumonia
so.
resistance, eh?
Hmm.
No, it's another one. Pneumonia resistance is, I'm checking my spreadsheet now. Is this poison resistance? Pneumonia resistance, okay, well, so the supplemental respiration attachment.
Yeah, okay.
That gives you the pneumonia resistance. Like
Cool.
the other one is like less duration. This
Yeah,
one is actually the chance to resist pneumonia.
good.
So it's reduce affliction chance from the underground modifiers. Yes. Looked up new additional stats to the armor alterations. Because yeah, the buffs should be like stats should be added to your armor stats.
Mm-hmm.
Adding fertile stat calculation for pneumonia resistance. Makes sense, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Fixed the issue where attachments on the armor pieces applied, were not applying the stats to the players correctly. Oh, I'm glad I fixed that.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I mean, we like our stats.
Yeah. Although I would have expected this one in the list of fixes, this bullet point, but okay.
Yeah,
Adding new user interface to attachment item hovers that present stylized icons on what type of items they can be attached to. So now if you hover over the attachments in the attachment bench, you can actually see which type of items they can be attached to. Headpiece, leg piece, knife, pickaxe, things like
yeah.
that.
We like it. We like that.
Yeah. So added armor attachments, alteration icons, attachment icons, icon types, in the UI folder. Adding attachment icons for the attachment pop-ups. Fixed recipes for advanced armor alterations. So apparently during tests they were like, yeah, we have to rebalance those recipes.
Yeah. Again, I kind of think that should be in the next list, but never mind.
Uh, added new UI to recipes, so what items the attachment can be attached to is shown on both the recipe and the item pop-up itself.
Good.
So you don't have to first craft it to see where you can add it to.
Yeah. Yeah, that's nice.
Yep, I'm glad about that one.
Yeah, that's a time saver.
Rebalanced talent changes for more streamlined decision making, with investments in the same talent being more worthwhile. Okay, so some of them talents, unfortunately, they don't tell you which one. Where you have like multiple levels of that talent, they rebalance it a bit more. Okay.
Hmm. Yeah, that raises a lot of questions, actually, doesn't it?
Yeah. Bit, yeah. So they also changed the crossbow innate effects to attacks cause slow instead of pinning. Slow is longer lasting effects that will provide a more consistent bonus.
Okay.
There was a talent for, was a talent for slow or only for pin?
No, I believe it was. Oh, actually, it might have
Yeah,
been
there
to
is one. The
stop.
hindering shot. Arrow strikes slow your target. 3 levels.
Yeah.
5, 10 and 15% chance to slow on hit with bows and crossbows. Now, there is a percentage number somewhere here. It's actually in the way down in the fixes. Crossbows now all have the innate stat of attacks cause immobilize percent with a value of 25. Cause immobilize with value of 25, but here they say they have the slow, not a pinning. So if the
Okay.
slow is now a 25%, means it's even more than the 3 points 3 points in the hindering shot talent.
Yeah.
For the people who have the talent, I do hope these percentages stack.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have any talent points in there. Plus, it's
No, I don't think
percentage
I.
base. It's a chance of. So testing it
I think
might
the
be a tad hard, but
I think the only one of us that can test that would be Carl because I believe he has that
if
ability.
he still has that character.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, 25 plus 15. So it would, if the percentages do stack, you will get up to 40% for a slow down your target. 40% is actually quite good.
Okay.
Yeah, like I said, I
That'll
do
be.
hope for the people who have points in this talent, I do hope they stack.
Yeah.
But
That'll
yeah, again,
be.
it's a tad hard to test because it's percentage based.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, two more in new stuff. So they
Yeah.
added the icons for the all armor alteration tech 3 packs. So both in the tech 3 and tier 3 and the tier 4 blueprints, there is an additional attachment pack, the armor attachment pack. Hey
Okay.
Mike, welcome.
Hey, Mike. Good to see you. Welcome back. How are you doing? Um.
Uh,
And lastly, but not least.
they added in the base database tables, adding in base data table setup for the violet leather armor set. Currently in the data tables as hard leather. Entries are just a copy of the base leather set until we do a stat and a recipe pass. Missing dynamics on chest piece, which will be in the next pass. So are we gonna get a new leather armor? New type of leather armor? The hard leather? This may be a bit better, I don't know, physical resistance stats? That's
Don't
gonna be
know.
interesting.
Hmm.
It's gonna be interesting.
Yeah.
In the
Yeah.
tech tree in there for the blueprints, there is nothing about the hard leather or something or violet leather yet. Maybe they will come. We'll have to wait and see.
Okay. So let's see what they fixed.
Oh wow, Mike has a good breakfast. Steak and eggs for breakfast. Nice.
Steak and eggs for breakfast. Wow.
That's a breakfast which will last you a bit and which you can work on. Good foundation for the day.
Sounds like supper time to me.
Well, hey, it's always steak o'clock somewhere.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, hope,
Hey, you
excuse
can
me.
wake me up in the middle of the night for steaks. I might not be
Oh,
happy that you wake me up, but you can wake me up.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, especially for steaks. Mm,
Well,
yeah. Okay. Yeah.
anyway,
Moving swiftly on. I don't know. Maybe we can whip up a steak or two between us in the 10 minutes between this and the gameplay.
maybe.
Okay. They've replaced a flammable check with verbose logging that was causing clients on dedicated server development builds to crash.
Since this is not public testing yet, we have never actually encountered that issue, but I'm glad they
Okay,
figured out the cause of the crash and they fixed it.
good. We like that. They fixed a couple of issues which were causing some dialogue audio and subtitles to play twice or more in a row for clients. Well, I've
We have
experienced
this.
that. If you've been keeping a track of the Triple F episodes,
Yeah,
then you'll have seen that you'll have seen that.
not a great many times though.
No,
Very
no.
rarely. There was one mission where if you completed the third step, Saul told you, okay, it's done, and then he told you, okay, now it's done. Like he said it twice. Not
Yeah,
sure which mission it was anymore though.
no, no. We've definitely experienced that, and it's kind of having had it happen to us, I've caught myself going, wait a minute, did I just hear that twice, or did you guys hear that too? And
Yeah,
and
and
you're
they're like,
like,
okay, let's redo the mission because I didn't pay attention. And yep,
at which point my next mission is Alt F4, Alt
yeah.
F10, sorry. Um, so we get a clip, but yeah, we've had that happen to us. Uh, the next few, if you would, please.
Too much tech talk.
Yeah.
Yeah. Added an authentication. Added a check to the base travel quest overlap event. As previously, this meant clients could trigger duplicate dialogue on themselves when they arrived at the quest destination. Oh, so you could actually trigger this duplicate dialogue. Okay. Well,
Okay.
never did it. Anyway, removed net multicast from the trigger pooled dialog function, as this calls a second function, which is also an RPC, and could result in duplicated function calls on clients. Remote procedure call. Basically, fixes in the code again.
Okay.
They
Thank you.
added
We like that.
they added a new durable entry for target dummy with 10 times increase of hit points. Actually, we haven't built these target dummies yet, so I don't know what the durability was before. Apparently, they increase it now.
Yeah. True.
Okay, good. Refactored the dialogue for Sapphire 2 to work with the new subtitle timing system. Subtitles should now match closer with the voice acting. Been a while since we did the Sapphire though.
It has, hasn't it?
Sapphire. Which mission was that? Sapphire is a Styx mission.
Yes, it is.
Uh, Ring Lake. Okay,
Was
that's
that
what we
not
had to run
Crocs?
from the crocs at the lake, I think. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Oh, what for? How could we forget that?
Eh,
Good grief. Wow. Alrighty. Um, take us through the next two, if
Yeah.
you would, please. I have to go and shut the back door.
Okay. So is the set as mentioned above, the target dummy and the target bullseye to use the new higher durability row. So yeah, they did indeed increase the durability there, which is good. So here again is the chimney cap smoke thing mentioned. It's a feature upvote from November 21st last year. Make smoke come out of the chimney when it's on. For such a beautiful game, these little things are obvious when they are missing from it. And yeah, a long list of comments, or quite a few comments there from people who are like, yeah, you need. I agree. Some people were actually mentioning like it should be the same as Valheim. It'll give a negative effect if you don't make sure the smoke can properly leave the house. Others are
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah, no, don't do that.
No, no. Especially not on a 6 map when we've got Kias to worry about.
Well, on the other hand, a chimney, if you
Well,
can do it with a
yeah.
chimney, then it should be fine.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
yeah,
everybody stopped building them because they know how much stone it takes to do it.
yep. And they didn't add a whole lot. Okay, they have more inventory slots in the campfires, but
Yeah.
like I already said yesterday, I don't think you can put more than one fireplace in any given 1x1, but you can easily check 4 campfires down
Mm-hmm.
in a
Yeah.
1x1 on a 1x1. So it gives you at least the same amount of inventory slots. Plus, it'll give you 4 queues
Yes.
versus only 1 queue for the fireplace. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, but this is a visual fix only,
Yeah. Okay.
which we will test. And I'm also going to test what happens if I put a fireplace, chimney cap. Will the smoke come out of the chimney cap? And what happens if I then remove the chimney piece between the fireplace and the chimney cap?
Yeah.
Will the smoke still come out of the chimney cap? That would be fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Anyway, and they also ensured that the chimney smoke is now properly active when reloading the prospect.
So it would go up the chimney stack when you were first there, but when you came back, it would disappear.
If you quit the game and load back in, or the prospect, you load back in the prospect. Apparently, the chimney smoke didn't continue even though the fireplace was still active.
Okay.
That's how I read this.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
So they double the vapor condenser inventory capacity to ensure that the rewards are not limited by the inventory availability. Just clear it out after each wave. But then again, especially if you play single player, then you accidentally kill the last animal of a wave, and then you have to you don't have time to empty out the inventory before the
No.
next wave comes in,
No.
and then then your rewards will then indeed be limited. But then again, no, you don't get rewards between waves. You only get it between iterations.
Yeah.
So you have to manually start a new iteration. So you could have emptied out the thing already.
Yeah. Well, we kind of we used that to our advantage actually, because what we would do is we would know that there was a bunch of enemies stuck over a cliff somewhere,
Yeah,
and
but
we would
that's between
use that.
waves.
Yeah, but that we would use that time to offload, and then we'd kill the last, I don't know, one, having
Well,
already,
this is only
somebody
that
was
was between
waiting for.
waves, Echo.
Um,
You only get rewards after each iteration.
yeah, did we not have somebody waiting to collect it and move it in between?
Not between waves, I believe. Maybe
No?
chat can help us out here, but as far as I know, you only get the rewards after a full iteration. Like the
Yeah.
30, 60, 80 exotics, and
Mhm.
then after the fourth one, the one single enzyme, dried enzyme.
Yeah.
You didn't, as far as I know, you didn't get anything between waves. So if it's between iterations, and you have to manually start each new iteration, it means you could have emptied out the thing before the next iteration. But then again, if you accidentally press and hold the interact key instead of press the interact key to open the inventory, then
Mhm.
yeah, you wouldn't have time. And then I can understand that you're like, yeah, there was 60 exotics in it already. Now the third iteration should have given me like more, but it only filled up to 100, and then inventory was full.
Mhm. Yeah.
So yeah, they should. It's good if the condenser now has enough inventory space for 3 full iterations, preferably even 4.
Good.
I'm not gonna build one to test it out though.
No,
On the other
I'm
hand,
not too
I
keen to
can do
do
it on
that
my
either.
outpost. I can do it on my outpost. I have most of the stuff there already anyway. So
Yeah. Okay. Disabling unused outpost map content from the game to reduce game size and build times.
that's good because this also means that during an update, where it checks all the files, less files means less time to check the files,
Yeah.
which is good.
Okay. Do you want to do the next three?
No, they added self-valid check to the FLOD FISM component tick to try to fix physics crashes while the player is traveling. It doesn't sound too optimistic to try to fix this.
Hmm.
But okay, at least they're working on it.
Nice.
They added FLOD valid checks to the flammable target to fix crashes related to fire spreading.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if there's a forest fire, your game crashes. We have not had that issue.
No.
Okay. And they replace a code verify with an ensure in the fire instance base to improve FLOD debugging while in the editor. Again, nothing for us.
Okay. So the electric extractor stays active after removal of the generator it is attached to after relog. Excuse me, ensure energy networks register correctly on reload. This prevents possible exploits with picking up the generator on an active network.
Uh, so it says it stays active after removal of the generator. Wouldn't it be will deactivate after removal of the generator? Because it looks
Uh,
like there was an exploit where you have the electric extractor running. You log off the game, you log back in, you pick up the generator, and the electric extractor is still running,
yeah,
which it could allow you to use one generator for multiple extractors on different areas of the map without running an electric wire between all those locations.
yeah. You just put the generator down, set it up, log
Log
out,
off and log back
come
in,
back
pick it
in,
up.
pick up the
Yeah.
generator, and rinse and repeat.
Hmm. Well, I'm glad they tagged on to that exploit and they
Well,
fixed that
yeah,
exploit.
yeah. But it's a pity we didn't know about
Uh,
it.
we haven't done much of exotics extraction lately anyway.
No.
And usually we stay with a vein until it's empty. Anyway, renaming the critical strong point damage stat to be hardened point damage. More in line with the hardened crit zones of the on the enemy.
Yeah. Okay.
Adjusting
The
the critical hit damage calculation so the critical hit stats are used as a plus percent instead of a percent. Looks like they did this to fix stacking of percentages.
Okay.
So
Adjusting
yeah,
on you go.
adjusting player critical hit base stats to be lowered from 400 to 300. Damage works out to be the same as previous. Interesting. But each
Mm-hmm.
point from critical hits from talents or tools is now more impactful. So you do less base damage, uh, base critical hit damage. But the increases from your tools, your attachments, your talents and stuff, they are more impactful now.
Yeah, they make more of a
Uh,
difference, which is good.
yeah, makes those talents more worthwhile.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Michael in the chat says Steam updates take too long. It's entirely dependent on the length of the update that we're given, and it.
Not true, actually. The way how Steam and Unreal on Steam, how it works is you download the update. It can be a
Mm-hmm.
small update, it can be a large update, it doesn't really matter, only matters in your download time. However, it then extracts and checks every single file of the game.
Yes, it has
And
to. It
that is
has
what's
to.
taking so long.
Yeah, it has to validate,
Yeah.
revalidate the files once it's
This is
downloaded the
yeah.
update.
This is not an Icarus issue, this is an Unreal Steam combination issue.
Mm-hmm.
This can be kind of mitigated by splitting up the game into multiple image files. So you update a single image file, one of say 10. So it
Mm-hmm.
only has to check the files from this one image file instead of from all of them. So it has to do less checking. Some games are using this mechanic. Icarus decided to not use that mechanic, and they explained this a couple of months ago why they didn't do it this way.
Mm-hmm.
I don't recall the exact reason anymore.
Okay.
Well, the advantage of one big image file is it checks every file. So if there is a file corruption, it will be picked up
Picked
by
up.
this
Yeah.
verification, and it
Yeah.
will be fixed. So if there is a file corruption in a file that's not touched by the update, in a whole different part of the game, it still will be fixed by this validation. If you have multiple image files, this file corruption might not be picked up by the validation process. I believe that was the reason that Icarus chose to do one big image file.
Okie dokie. And that's something that crops up often. That comment
Uh,
crops up quite
yeah,
a lot.
it is frequently heard complaint. Icarus update takes so long. Now, also keep in mind how Steam works. Uh, it extracts the updates not necessarily on the same drive you have Steam and the Steam applications installed. I believe Steam looks for the drive with the biggest amount of free space. So you can have your Steam installation and your game installed on an SSD, but if your and your operating system on an SSD, but if you still have a platter disk with a lot of free space, Steam is going to use that by default, going to use that drive for extracting and verification of the files. You
Yeah.
can within Steam, I believe, you can specify which drive it has to use. But by default, it's taking the drive with the most amount of free space.
Yeah.
Actually, also a complaint where people were like, my game can't update. I still have like 10 gigs free on my the drive. Still, Steam can't update a file
Yeah.
because they don't realize Steam extracts the entire game and does a verification of the entire game. So if the Icarus game itself takes up 50 gigs of space, you need an additional 50 gigs for the update.
Yeah. Yeah. It is what it is.
Uh,
I'm afraid, but they're working on it, and
Yeah,
That's
they
all.
have to
That's all we
work
can ask
within
them to
the
do.
and they have to work within the limitations of the system being
Yeah,
Steam Unreal.
yeah, yeah.
Anyway, let's continue.
Okie dokie. Adjuster adjusting player hardened point damage stat from 25 to 75 to work with critical system changes. The values work out to be the same as before.
Oh, 25 to minus 75 it stays here,
Oh, minus 75.
which makes it
Oh.
extra odd that the values work out to be the same as before. Okay.
Yeah, okay. That's a bit confusing.
Michael, the explanation of the whole update process was helpful for Michael apparently. Good.
Good. Excellent.
Glad,
Glad we
yeah,
could
glad to
help.
be of assistance. Yeah.
Yeah. Feel free to ask any questions you've got. If we can answer them, we will.
Yeah.
Um, Crossbows now all have the innate stat of attacks cause immobilized percentage with a value of 25. That's what you were mentioning earlier
Yeah.
on when you were talking about is it immobilized or is it slow? Because
Exactly.
now it seems that we have both.
Yeah, I don't know. Or is a typo here, a typo above, or does it have the 25% chance of immobilize innate plus an innate slow percentage chance? I don't know.
Hmm. Don't know. Afraid we can't answer that one, but
Yeah,
if they have it, that's a good thing, I think.
yeah, I don't know.
Okay. Adding
So,
crossbow innate stats attacks cause pin again with the
yeah.
immobilized thing and hardened point damage.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
bit of
the
confusion coming up here.
hardened point damage, the innate stats where a crossbow does more damage on hardened
Yeah.
zones of the target, which
Mm-hmm.
was mentioned before. Oh
Yep.
yeah, they did the attacks cause pin. So that is the immobilized one. So
Yeah.
not sure whether it has the slow, the pin, or both.
Hmm.
I don't know.
Okay. Committing missing source files for virtual stats and actor state, which was breaking the build and the critical hit changes.
Well, it's good that I figured out which source files were missing. Otherwise, we wouldn't have had an update.
That's very true. They fixed a typo in the crushed bone description.
Not
kind of
sure I've noticed a typo
yeah,
in
but
there actually.
considering how much crushed bone we make, I'm kind of surprised we didn't catch it.
Yeah, but then again, for Chris Bone, I
I
actually
tend,
never look at the
yeah,
pop-up.
I just need to know I'm making crushed bone. You know?
Exactly, I know which icon to click,
Yeah.
and then you
I know
press
what it does. I
max
know
and you
what I
press
need it
go.
for. I just don't know how much I'm gonna need.
Yeah, I know what it is. I never look at the description.
No,
So,
no.
well, apparently there
Okay,
was a typo which I fixed, especially
good.
for people who are bothered by typos, which I
Yeah,
have to admit, I'm kind of one of those people.
yeah. If I see
For
it,
those
I
people, it's
don't
good that I
forget that I
fixed it.
see it. But
Yeah.
yeah. They're updating stats on talents with soft spot 1, 2, deadly thrust 1 and 2, and deadly stab to make them worthwhile.
Let's see, that should be in the combat. Oh yeah, soft spot. Soft spot. Oh, it's an increased critical hit multiplier. Uh, which one more? We have the deadly thrust and deadly stab. Deadly stab must be the blades, I reckon. Quickly checking. Yeah, deadly stab. Yeah, percentage critical damage with knives. Deadly thrust must be the spear then, I think.
Okay. Deadly
Yeah, deadly
stab.
thrust indeed spear. Additional percentage critical damage with spears.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, especially if they reduce the base percentage of critical damage, and then they up the percentage you get from talents. It definitely makes those talents more worthwhile. Yeah.
Yeah, for
Need
sure.
Michael says yes. Thanks for breaking it all down regarding the whole how does the update mechanism work. Again,
Cool.
Michael, you're very welcome. Glad to be of assistance. Right, so rifle rounds, incendiary rifle rounds, and pistol rounds. We were using the wrong collision assets when fired. Shots fired using these ammo types should now be significantly more accurate. This won't affect intentional weapon or movement inaccuracies. I never had the idea they were particularly inaccurate, actually. Okay, sure. With the long distance shots, it was always a tad harder to hit
Yeah,
because a bullet usually has a way flatter arc than an arrow, so you have to compensate for that. So
yeah,
usually when I missed really long distance shots, I was like, yeah, okay, I must have like
yeah.
miscalculated the drop off.
I always just assumed it was me. It was user fault.
Yeah, and I've
You
had
know.
some one-shot crit kills with a rifle on a bear long
Yeah,
distance.
exactly.
I've had those as well.
Yeah.
Like,
Can't say as I've used
you
too many
remember when
incendiary rounds though,
through usually
and I
using
have
for
never,
like
I've
worm
never, I've
or
never
worm boss
used
or
the
so.
pistol. I've never used a pistol, so I really have
No,
no comparison.
at this one time where we had in the northern forest near the entry to the southern desert. You have the canyon with three caves close to one another. One of them a big cave, where we have built a base in front of.
Mhm.
We actually built at the same spot the reverse pyramid as well, where I was standing on top of the building and I
Yeah.
was shooting down the canyon.
Yes.
On the other side, I shot a bear above the cave on the other side.
Yeah.
You could barely make out the corpse from on top of the building.
Yeah. So I mean,
Yeah,
if I just found if the weapon wasn't accurate, I just assumed it was me.
yeah, same here. I also
So
assumed it was you. Sorry,
thanks.
it was too easy.
Moving swiftly on. Updating target range mission to include essential chest food, oxygen, and water. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Okay, you want me to do it?
Yes, please.
Okay, so the target range mission, the mission from last week's update for the target practice had a chest with weaponry. So the idea was this is going to be an easy mission where you basically you hop in, you do the track, and then you hop back out. But you still had to bring your own oxygen, water, food. So they now put an additional chest next to the weapons chest. They also put an essentials chest in apparently now with I reckon oxide. Not sure how they do with war. Maybe water skins and some food. So you
Hmm.
don't have to first go out and prepare food, water, and oxygen before doing the mission. Of course,
Okay.
we had built our base so we could do the oxide
Yep.
dissolver and stuff,
Yep.
and
Exactly.
we had to do hunting for food. So apparently, you don't need to do that no more when doing that mission, which is good.
Okay. Cool.
They fixed the locations of the essentials chest on the target range mission and updated the content. So they added it, then they fixed the location and the contents. Okay, basically
Okay.
one bullet point. They
Cool.
made it proper.
Good. Excuse me.
They updated the tracker head attachment to grant plus 15% critical damage instead of the radar scanning speed. Okay, so initially it said, okay, you can see world bosses and your radar will scan faster. And they changed the last part for an additional 15% critical damage. The faster scanning speed must have been only, I don't know, was it only for the person who started the scan should have that attachment, or the person who crafted the radar? In other words, this stat, was it player based or device based? Should be player based because it's an armor piece.
Yeah.
I don't know. But then again, like 15%, the increased radar scanning speed. Well, the radar isn't that slow anyway.
No, it's not actually.
So the increased radar scanning speed, nah, not that useful. I'm glad they switched it out for the 50% crit damage additional.
Yep. Okay.
Here's a important one. They removed the attachment slots from the workshop armor, so your space armor you cannot put any attachments on.
Oh.
I checked this, and indeed it does not have a slot for it. It's only for crafted armor.
Okay.
So if you are dropping down with your Naneo armor or your miner armor or your hunter armor, stuff like mate, you don't get no attachments there.
Okay.
If you craft your armor on the planet, leather armor, cloth armor, fur armor, there you have them. Sure. Hunter armor, scorpion, worm armor, all those planet side crafted ones.
Yeah, that sounds like it's going to be more useful to our newly level 49 and 50 characters who have
Uh,
no Naneo armor.
Not necessarily though. Your Naneo armor gives you. Hey Jason, do we still have
Hey,
slots for
Jason.
speed modules? Yes, Jason, we have. They did not do anything with the module slots. They're on the suit, not on the armor.
Yes.
These attachments is all for the armor. Now, if you look at
Yes.
the Naneo armor, it gives you cold and heat resistance, exposure resistance, physical resistance, but nothing for any of the other stats. So nothing for there's nothing for stam regen during a storm, for example. Nothing for health regen. Nothing for more carry capacity. Those kind of things. Sure, the hunter armor has the less perceived threat while stealth, and maybe also the crouch moving speed increase. But with the attachment systems now, you can get the same buffs on your planet side crafted armor. So yeah, you're not necessarily gonna say my Naneo is the best, there is no better one. My space gear is the best. Because yeah, physical resistance you can get with the plating attachment.
Yeah.
Exposure resistance you can get with the Storm Rider attachment. And it gives you some extra buffs as well. Plus, don't forget, you have 5 armor pieces. You can have like 5 different buff sets on your armor. From the looks of it.
Sounds good.
So the planet side crafted armor is getting better, nicer with these attachments. Again, it's more of a long mission attachment. So for short missions, you still use your space armor. But for longer missions, where you go to tier 4 anyway, tier 3 anyway, tier 4, you need composites for quite a few of those armor attachments.
Right.
So it's like for the really long missions or for your outpost. But yeah, you can make your planet side crafted armor like at least as effective as your space armor now.
Which is not a bad thing.
Exactly. Jason says, it sounds to me like they're making it so we use space equipment in a prospect when we drop, while we tag up to better in-game equipment. For example, yes. Or you forgo your space armor entirely.
Which frees up
Uh,
an extra 5 slots in your
exactly.
inventory.
Exactly. Okay. Early game, you have like worse armor. Actually, you start with no armor, and then you gradually upgrade your armor till you have like space equivalent or better.
Yeah,
More room for plans, Jason. To be honest, I never bring plans. I never bring seeds.
don't need to anymore.
No, I mean with the whole all the meat, the different types of meat, you don't need that much salads and stuff anymore. Sure, if you are on a mission where you don't have access to the desert biome, you might want to bring down a pack of pumpkin seeds and chuck it in a planter. But
Yeah,
you can also completely forgo the salads and use wheat and meat.
which are easily, well, I mean, the meat is so easy to get these
And
days,
yeah,
that you can be, you can end up being a complete carnivore, with the exception to the flatbread.
yeah. Jason says, I'm a foodie, squash and corn. Uh, my default buff, Jason, is prime meat, flatbread, and dried stringy. Sometimes I swap out dried stringy for bacon, but usually dried stringy because I do a lot of mining.
Yeah, my staple diet is definitely flatbread. I will make salads if, like there are lots and lots of melons and berries around. If there's enough food substances that I can get some salads, I'll have a salad. I'll also use the cream corn. But more recently, I've been, using the prime meat buff and the stringy meat, the dried stringy meat, and even the cooked gamey meat, which is
Which is a prime meat.
yeah, but it means
Yeah,
that I can have a prime meat without actually having to eat prime ribs.
true, true. Yeah, Jason has four stomach slots, as does Echo on her main character.
Yeah, I also have
Jason's
4 slots.
health bar goes up to his second hotbar slot. Yeah, when are you needing that much health? If you're unable to proper bear dance, yes. And yeah, I've had instances indeed where I died, and if would have had a bit more health, I could have survived. But meh, dying is part of the game, man. Dying is part of the game.
Yep, it's going to happen. You don't need to
Exactly.
question if it's going to happen. It's only a question of when it
Yeah.
happens.
Just accept it as part of the game. Don't
Yeah,
worry about it. I mean, if you're a solo player, it's more annoying. True, true.
yeah,
But if you play multiplayer, then yeah, you die. So what? Just have the other person come back and revive you. And
yeah,
true, in sticks with our lower level characters, we have had it where okay, the one is dead, and then the other dies as well, and then you basically wait for the other person to die as well, so you can run back together. Eh, it's all part of the game, and it makes for more interesting content.
yeah. I mean, I'm not saying that there aren't times I wish I didn't wish I had more health, but the way I play, my style of gaming, I prefer to concentrate on having the stamina to do what I need to do that would potentially use all that health.
Eh,
But there we go.
anyway, yeah, indeed, Jason, you're a solo player, then it's it's a good thing to have a bit more health, so you can hopefully kill that which attacks you before it kills you.
Yes.
True. But yeah, I usually go for like stam regen,
Hmm.
and like the for me more important things in the health is like, yeah, I should just avoid getting hit, and if I can't avoid it, I haven't done my best. Anyway, future content.
Okay,
Let's see what's interesting. Small, medium, large hanging ivy assets for dressing the mega trees. Are we gonna have poison ivy?
that sounds interesting.
Yeah, that could be nice.
Mm.
Say, yeah, poison plants if you walk past them. Interesting. Then how are you gonna avoid those ivies? Ooh, it's gonna be a interesting one.
Mm. Looking forward to that.
Yeah. So submitted a
Predator
predator
bird.
bird. Is this the moa they were talking about before, or yet another one?
I would suggest it would have been the moa because they have kind of said, oh, by the way, we're putting this bird in here.
Uh, let's see. Yeah, 2 weeks ago they added in the base implementation for the moa. Still need to properly implement skinning and cost related assets as well as skeleton for post skin and harvest state. Looks
Hmm.
like they did that now, so I think this is the moa. Oh well.
Okay.
Let's see. So they were working on the whole dedicated server thing.
Mm-hmm.
Less likely for the clients. Uh, More Prometheus stuff. Added
Riverbanks,
riverbank.
geothermal pools, more
More
dedicated
dedicated
servers.
server. And now third of their own building placement hologram. So the ghost imagery is no longer depending on the server.
Okay.
Let's see. Remember the version 2 for the dropship, added blueprints for the Aspen. Aspen, not sure it was mentioned before.
Nope.
Added blueprints for all 4 variants and all 4 colors of CF Aspen. Oh well. What else interesting here?
Oops.
Adding first pass M creature footsteps in animation notifiers and data table entry. M creature? Is this Moa creature maybe? I don't know.
Possibly. To be, well,
No,
I don't know. I mean, is it going to be followed by N and O and P?
I don't know. So 3 down, they updated the footsteps in animation notifiers. The test map as well, but M creature.
Hmm.
Added to
Interesting.
Tusok A. So
More
re-import.
geothermals.
Sorry?
More geothermal banks.
Yeah, more like re-imported the lava river flow B, rotated on the Z-axis. You're gonna get a lava rivers? Cool.
Ooh. That makes me think of Hydroneer a little bit.
Uh, eh, I do hope this is more dynamic, actually. The
Yeah,
lava
but
rivers were with an eruption and then it creates a lava river. That could be
cool.
nice. If they would do such a thing.
If it's a big if,
True,
but this
true.
is future. This is future content. So and more lava.
They added the baby Moa base setup and assets for prototype implementation. Uh, Adding missing lava road to the D-War setup, the placeholder to fix river spline construction. So, I don't know. It's going to be a static or dynamic lava river. It's going to be
Hmm.
interesting to see. Can't wait for the DLC. When is the DLC gonna come out? Oh, the M creature is named again, adding the M creature idle nip vocal movements.
Ooh,
And
I
the
don't
line
nip.
below,
Hmm.
the one below is more interesting. The first implementation of creature taming mechanics. So there
Ooh.
will be a sort of taming mechanic. Well, like Arc-ish?
It would make
Huh?
sense if they're gonna allow us to ride the buffalo. It would kind of make sense if we can tame them.
The Buffalo and the Moa. They said something last week about some control rig for the Moa.
Yes.
One would assume you will need to tame the Moa before you can use such a control rig.
Hmm.
Gonna be interesting.
Yep.
Uh, Added a mangrove fallen trunk hollow variant 1 to 5. So you can crawl in or through the hollow mangrove. Well, mangrove isn't a very wide tree. So, we'll see. We'll have to wait till the update comes out, unfortunately.
Yep. But that is always the way. They give us the
Unfortunate,
update, they
yes.
tell us what they fixed, they tell us what we're getting next, and then they say, "Here, guys, have a couple of teasers."
Yeah, get excited, but do keep in mind not everything in this section might
Yes.
make it
You
to the.
Yeah, it's a case of you can look forward to this, but not yet.
And also keep in mind we can put everything we want in here, but it might not make it to the final to the final release.
Yes, these are possibilities, not guarantees.
Yep, but still.
Hmm.
But this brings us kind of to the end of the patch
It
notes.
does indeed. It does indeed. And that's the update for this week, guys. I'm glad you could join us. I'll just scroll back up to the top. That was quite some update, wasn't it?
It was indeed.
Yeah.
The armor attachments,
Look,
interesting mechanics there.
yeah. I'm looking forward to testing those shortly.
Oh,
Uh, in the meantime, I think we will take a 15-minute break. We will return at a quarter to the hour. I think
sure.
that's reasonable. Does that sound okay?
Okay.
Alrighty. And I'd like to say thanks to everybody for joining us, to Jason and Mike and Michael. And we will see you in about 15 minutes. Until then, it's good night from me,
And good night from her.
and we will see you on the next one. Remember, it's a dangerous world out there. Take care of yourselves and each other. Until then, bye.